I liked your question in the chat there as well, Mark. What's a word for how you are feeling today? I'm into that.
Yeah. I asked that because, when we're on the street or in the call, you might have said, "How are you today?" "Oh, I'm great. How are you?" Meaningless.
Yeah. I usually like to ask it twice. When you ask it the second time to someone, then they really think about it.
Yeah. Can you be more specific? Is a good follow-up.
Good is
my answer when somebody asks me how I'm doing, if I don't really want to go deep or whatever, my answer is always net positive.
Oh yeah, okay. That's a win.
It's a nod to the complexities of my feelings without necessarily being like, "Oh, well, since you asked." People like, "Okay, I really didn't care.
I really just wanted to take your coffee order." But anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Same again, latte?
Yeah. Did you want 2 sugars? Yeah, I mean, I just did this thing which blew me wide open called the Hoffman process. I know I've talked to you guys about it. It's I've got a little performance issue alert, so if my thing goes away. And one of the many things that we do is we like every single day, it was a 7-day thing, off grid, no phones, and every day you wake up and you talk to your coach and she'd say, I had a female coach, how much did you sleep? And how are you feeling? And you couldn't ever be like, good. And they gave you, I don't have it here, unfortunately, but a list of like 100 different feelings, and you look and be like, I'm feeling grounded. I'm feeling worried. I'm feeling mildly anxious. I'm feeling fulfilled. I'm feeling, like all these different words for like, what is the feeling that you're kind of in touch with, and the reason I ask it is because it's just sort of a good place to start. Because we can sort of pretend like we're good and move around the world like we're good, and it is completely out of alignment with what's actually happening. And we might make some bad decisions based on how we want people to think that we're feeling. And all of a sudden we're not being authentic and blah, like things fall apart.
Yeah. So what do you suggest? Like if somebody asks you how you're doing, I mean, I know that your answer is net positive, but like how deep do you go? I guess it depends on the audience, but do you have any advice to people around like how to answer that in an authentic way? So they're not just like, oh, it's another piece of bullshit that I'm doing. And so I have like a little hit against myself when I do that, but then how do I overshare?
Yeah. I mean, I won't lie. Like if, in certain situations, we were like, how you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm pretty good today. Like, and I'd like a latte, like I don't need to bother everybody with my feelings. Audience is important. But if if I'm at dinner with friends and they're like, oh, it's great to see you. How are you? Like I had dinner with, I don't know if you ever knew this guy, Brian Baer, who's a coach out in San Francisco. But he came to New York and he was like, can we meet up? And I haven't seen Brian in 15 years. And I was like, I got to meet this guy. So we met up and he's like, how you doing? And I was like, well, and for him, we have a background of coaching, of being in a men's group together. And so, I was able to say things are really complex right now. So that's an answer, and then based on the reaction, you can be like, we're just going to leave it there. Or, all right, maybe let's go deeper. Everything can be an invitation in these conversations. But I also think it's really important to have these conversations with people. Like you need to have a place. I'll speak for myself and literally everybody I know. You need to have a place where you can share your feelings, share your wins, even small ones. In my Unleash Creativity Club, we do Friday wins. And I encourage people to share, like, did you get through? Are you still alive? Like, that's a win. Did you, like for me, a win of mine every week is I got my daughter to school every day, which some days is a bigger win than others. But for me, it's like, well, of course I'm going to take my daughter to school. That's my job. It's not even my job. It's just like, it has to happen. Like there's no, it's an obligation. It's a responsibility. It's all these things, but I did it, right? Like I showed up to it. I applied to 3 jobs this week. I wanted to do 20, but I applied to 3. Okay. So like these small affirmations is I like roll my eyes at all this like gratitude affirmations, but it's a way. Somebody said something recently that really landed for me about gratitude. It's not necessarily about sort of gratitude in name only, like, oh, I'm really grateful for flowers. And, maybe you are, but like, like sort of like, let me come up with 3 things. But to really sort of take a minute, we talked about breath, take a minute and just take a breath in and see if you can like receive the gratitude that you're actually talking about in that moment. So like,
Can we actually do that right now? Can we like all take a breath?
A collective breath.
A breath.
Yeah. I know we talked about, right, it says fundamentally well, which is a good answer.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
It is good. It's like, okay, all right. Yeah. So if everyone who's listening wants to sort of sit and put their feet on the ground and close their eyes, we can take 3 breaths together.
All right. Let's do it.
And
game.
Thinking about gratitude and thinking about worry. I like to do this for myself. Sometimes I have to do it multiple times a day, is think about, we're about to be here for the next hour. Our notifications are off. There's nothing else that actually needs to be here. So when we breathe out, we're going to take all that worry, wherever you feel it in your chest, your stomach, your shoulders, breathe in the gratitude that you can be here on this call or listening to this call on this rock in space. Breathe that in to that space where that worry is. And then take that worry and breathe it out. As much as you can let it go on that out breath. So take that gratitude in. You're warm in your house. You've got your favorite slippers on. Breathe it into that space in your body where you feel that anxiety, that worry. Take that worry and breathe it out. One more time. Think about what you're grateful for in this moment, in this room where you are. Breathe it in. Breathe it into that space where you feel anything that's eating at you that you have to do afterwards, that just came at you before the call. Take anything that's not here now. Breathe it out. I like to rub my hands together after something like this, get a little energy. Sometimes I pat my shoulders with it.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you for guiding us through that. I hope everyone else got to have a little go at that. That's watching. That was lovely.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, if you're in the chat and you got anything from that, maybe something you're grateful for or a slight shift in feeling, I'd love to see it in the chat.
Yeah, I do appreciate hearing the little things that others are grateful for too, the sharing. I try to do more of that, like each day, like share some of that or remind people of that stuff too. Put it out there, receive it back. Your slippers, I appreciate that.
They are awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Corey. I agree. All live streams need a breathwork moment. Good call, mate. I'm actually grateful to this stream. I'm typing it in because we all show up here every other week, and we all kind of do some behind the scenes work, and we all try to pitch in and contribute. And you guys are there just as much as I'm there, and that's really helpful. Sometimes in our jobs, it can feel like we do a lot more of the work. Sometimes it can feel thankless. But in this situation, this scenario, I feel we really all pitch in.
Yeah, I know. What a beautiful community this has been. It's been really, really amazing.